Everybody, John Weller here. Today I'm with Paul Dominie of Bella Flooring Group. Paul is a VP of Sales. How you doing, Paul?
Doing fantastic. We're doing good.
Fantastic. So tell me a little bit about Bella Flooring Group and the products that you sell.
All right, so we are a very unique kind of approach to the marketplace. About 2 years ago, we formed what we call an MCG. That's a manufacturers cooperative group. That group was centered on some great manufacturers that all wanted to have clear and present representation in the United States. And so we put together this conglomerate, and we carry carpet tiles, both value-driven all the way up to some color point options and very unique prints. We have LVT, SPC, and hardwood. So this is a really nice diversified portfolio, specifically set up for people that are in the commercial business, but also we design them to be universal both in residential and commercial applications.
So all your products go both commercial and residential?
That is correct. We have a few products that are a little bit more streamlined towards multifamily projects, just because of the way that they're built and how they're structured. But most of our products have a 22 mil surface on them if they're an LVT or an SPC. So that gives you the versatility, or being versatile enough to be in both segments. We have a saying at Bella: you show it once and you can sell it twice.
That's pretty awesome. So I see that we have a lot of mutual interest on LinkedIn and connections. I'm curious, what was your pathway to this industry and the position you have now at Bella Flooring?
Well, I'm celebrating my 32nd year in this industry. I recently will turn a very milestone number, and I started when I was 18, so you can put that math together. And I've done everything from retail, manufacturing, distributor, consulting for about 9 years with Mohawk, and now in manufacturing again. We want to provide a product line that's unique, simple, and easy to use. And I was at the old BOU of America for a number of years and ran several divisions for them. And when that kind of went away, we decided that we could do something a little bit better, a little bit more simpler and easier to understand and streamline, kind of flatten out the layers of management and be a little bit more connected to the partners. And specifically, as we did this, we needed formats that were easy to use and also inexpensive. So if you do your marketing and your approach today and you are on a limited budget, if you can be creative and think through what message you want to produce and how you want to promote your product and your brand, you can simply start doing that from home with as simple as an iPhone or an iPad and a stand. And a clear message. That's to me, really what we've done over the last 2 years is have a clear message of what we're about and promoted that on social media and through many different forms.
Listen, I see your videos a lot on LinkedIn. I know that you understand the B2B way of communicating, and you've really kind of leaned into that. Are you guys working on anything to aid the dealers in helping getting your products in front of consumers?
Yes, a couple of different things. One, we are transforming. We've been alive for 2 years. We're on our 4th iteration of our website. So as communication improves and what clients are looking for, we want to do 2 things. We want to have an interaction with a general population with our brand where people can go and look and feel, but then they can easily connect with someone who can service that for them. And that may even shift over time. We don't know how things are going to develop, but we do know that there are major companies that are doing this shift where you're promoting to the mass, but then you're funneling it back down to your supporters. So that's something that we're doing currently right now. We also are starting to embed more and more videos on our communication with our clients. So no longer are we just sending them an email. We can send them an email with a link to a training opportunity.
Oh, that's epic. That is really good to hear. I will tell you that as we have been evolving as a digital marketing company in the flooring industry, we've seen it crystal clear that things were going to change. This obviously, I believe COVID-19 is going to have a very similar effect. Listen, in 2007, 2010, everything changed. At the time, I was running the builder division at Mohawk, so I think I had a front row view of how things can change overnight. And I started a hardwood distribution company in 2009. So as in the middle of an economic recession, I totally saw how consumers changed. And it was interesting because you had all of this discretionary income going away, but Google search had just become a very, very big part of our society. And out of nowhere, you saw companies like Empire and Lumber Liquidators and Home Depot taking massive part of the market share in the flooring industry because they saw that change and they put a lot of the resources into it. I think what you just hit on is critical. I think understanding that it's no longer going to be the tech companies that are the only guys really, really using this stuff. Like, if you really think what just happened in this last 7 weeks, Zoom became a household name. There is almost nobody you can talk to that doesn't know.
We've got a new term, Zoom bomb. I mean, right? I mean, people talk about bombing a Zoom meeting. I mean, that didn't exist 7 weeks ago.
So I think what you're going to see is, listen, this digital retailing, right, where consumers have had no choice. If you really think about it, and I really, in my head, I think this shift has happened already. I have 4 people within eyesight of my home that are redoing their floors. How did they pick those floors? I would even challenge that, Paul, to where you could make it mandatory, or you could literally have it, you watch this video and here's a questionnaire that you're going to fill out and send back to us, and that's how you unlock a co-op program or something like that. And now you're allowing somebody on their own time, when it's comfortable for them, to actually take in that content. I can tell you, and you've done this, and I know you have, because you've been in the industry a long time, I used to go do these PK meetings, and a lot of store owners would be, we're going to do it before the store opens. So you're there at 7 a.m. with your donuts, with a bunch of angry people who want nothing more than for you to go away. And there's no chance in the world that that is the most productive way to communicate in 2020. So I think, listen, digital PK, we are working on a solution at FloorForce that is going to be really, I believe, epic.
Well,
and I think, listen,
it has to happen. I mean, it just does. We have these tools. It's more effective. We were talking about this as a group just yesterday, John, is that you get people's attention because they know they're on camera. they know they have to be watching. And if you can prepare yourself, the person that's presenting, to providing 1 or 2 key points that they're going to be able to implement into their strategy of sales, they're all about it. Like you said, who wants to show up at 7 o'clock in the morning for something that they may be somewhat interested, but not really? And in most cases, when you do a PK on a new product, you might even be a new rep. So now you got to break down the barrier of that being the new rep and the new product at 7 in the morning. And if you bring the wrong donuts, well, then you're out completely. So, I mean, that's just the old way. Now this way is the company can promote it. And I tell you, we've had 100% participation and attendance on all of the Zoom meetings that we've done for our partners, which blows the mind of the owner, because they're like, we don't get this on a normal basis. So it's just a very different shift that we have to adjust to. We've really promoted doing Zoom meetings or Skype meetings or Microsoft Teams or one of the 20 different types with our partners, and giving them calculated training on selling in these challenging times, and revisiting some product knowledge points that might help them as they maybe are not as busy as they were before.
This digital retailing, right, where consumers have had no choice. If you really think about it, and I really, in my head, I think this shift has happened already. I have 4 people within eyesight of my home that are redoing their floors. How did they pick those floors? They're doing it right this minute. They had to have done this digitally. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? The shift has already happened. People understand that you can shop online. You can go pick up the samples, or they can be shipped to you, and you can have a floor done. And I believe, just like in 2007, the consumer behavior is not going to go backwards. you're going to have an expectation that this is the way you should operate. I don't need to walk around a big store, but we have to all be prepared for that.
Yes, I think if we stay centered on that piece for just a second, I sat through a lengthy Zoom meeting that was not industry centered for flooring. It was just a general PR and crisis meeting for the times that we live in. Two things that they said: that companies that are in this together with their employees have to shift. They have to shift quickly. They've actually got to accelerate their 3-year plan that they probably had to about 3 months, because as this thing pushes through, people, like you said, John, are not going to go back. They're going to be comfortable with this. I know as a company ourselves, we're talking about how to implement Zoom training and PK stuff rather than getting on a plane and flying across country to do something. And maybe we get 5 people. We can do a Zoom effect that might get all 100 people within their company. And the cost evaluation and the impact can be almost exactly the same with less cost. So I think that's one thing. And then the other thing that the company said is, in these times, you're either going to be a leader or you're going to be second place, almost like the Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. If you ain't first, you're last. And so as these brands are looking at how do we act and behave better in this world that has moved, how do we be prepared for that? How are we prepared for that? And I think those that are really focusing on their message and simplifying the message so that, like we said again, the mass can understand it, but it can feed back down to the people who support them. It is one of the key pieces to this.
Yeah, digital PK to me, I have been in my head since the day that I started to understand the connectivity of the social networks. I have never understood how this hasn't already transpired in our industry. But if you think about it, when you launch a product, I know this because I worked at several manufacturers, the time from making samples, getting them into the field, and having PK meetings done across a network by market, whether it's, it can take a year.
I was going to say it was weeks and months, maybe a year, and it was thousands, if not millions of dollars, not just in the cost to bring those people to you, but the time out of the field, right? You can set up one of these meetings and say, be here on Tuesday at 4:00, and they don't have to get on a plane or drive 10 hours to get to that meeting, right? So now you've only taken them out of their selling position for an hour or two rather than days. And that, I think, is going to have a huge upside.
I would even challenge that, Paul, to where you could make it mandatory, or you could literally have it, you watch this video and here's a questionnaire that you're going to fill out and send back to us, and that's how you unlock a co-op program or something like that.
It has to happen. I mean, it just does. We have these tools. It's more effective. We were talking about this as a group just yesterday, John, is that you get people's attention because they know they're on camera. they know they have to be watching. And if you can prepare yourself, the person that's presenting, to providing 1 or 2 key points that they're going to be able to implement into their strategy of sales.
And it's also understanding what you just said is critical, is understanding the audience and connecting the audience to something that they're interested in. Again, we deal with about 3,000 retailers that we run digital advertising for. We work with hundreds of manufacturers, and it confounds me sometimes when I talk to people the very first time before we start working with them, and they're like, yeah, I'm just not sold on Facebook advertising or LinkedIn advertising. And I ask them about their targeting and their messaging, and they show me this one thing that says they're having a sale. I'm like, guy, you understand there's pet owners, there are teachers. You literally can run an ad and say, are you a teacher that is just getting ready to start school? We have a back to school special. Are you a firefighter? We have a firefighter special. All of a sudden, you're waving down people and saying, are you a firefighter? And you know they are, because that's who you're targeting in the ad. Do you not think they're going to pay attention? But you can't just say hardwood's on sale and think that somehow a cold audience of people is going to resonate to that.
The Kohl's, the JCPenney's, the Walmarts have killed the mentality of the American public towards a sale. In fact, they are skeptical more than anything now when you run any sort of sale. So I believe, John, the messaging has to inspire. The messaging has to connect. The messaging has to give them something to look at that's not just 99 cent this or $1.25 that. Because again, they are very, very skeptical. But that's the way that we've done business for 40 or 50 years. It's a shift. If you look at online and social media, when Adidas tries to approach me because I've accidentally looked at shoes, workout shoes, they don't throw to me that they're having a sale. They throw to me these cool looking shoes, and oh, by the way, click through here and get free shipping and 30% off, right? So they inspire me before they try to tell me what the carrot at the end of the stick is. And that's going to be a big shift for a lot of people in the flooring business. And they may be very skeptical at that statement that I'm saying, but I've always been told, if you watch the major retailers, not flooring, you watch major retailers and how they act, it used to be through like you said, TV commercials and through newspaper ads, and that's kind of where things are going. And now when you start looking on social media, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Pinterest, all these, and they put these ads in front of you, it's about inspiring people to action on things that they already are thinking about or they already like. And then it engages them to want to dig deeper. The company can promote it. And I tell you, we've had 100% participation and attendance on all of the Zoom meetings that we've done for our partners, which blows the mind of the owner, because they're like, we don't get this on a normal basis. So it's just a very different shift that we have to adjust to.
The consumers at scale are learning to use technology to communicate, to shop, to do all this stuff, translated into the way we do business inside of our companies and the way we communicate with consumers has now gone through a monumental shift.
Yes, I do believe, and I was thinking about how to preface this today when we were talking. I do believe there will still be the time and the meetings that you have to be in the same room together. I wholeheartedly believe that. Whatever the subject might be, or whatever the intensity of the subject might be, there's going to need to be the face-to-face, or I call eyeballs, right? You got to see the actual other person's eyeballs and the reaction. Now, this helps a ton, but it's still not like being in the same room. Because I've been asked a question by others. You think this is going to replace that you just won't have to travel anymore? And I said, no, I don't think it's going to replace it. I won't have to travel anymore. But I think it will be another tool that we can use to vet out some things that will have much more success. Like you said, PK, product launch, sales meetings. I mean, you can imagine the hundreds of thousands of dollars that companies can save by using this, right? And have people from all over the country present to their staff different segments of whatever they're trying to launch at one time. But again, there will be that time where we're going to need to have the in-room meeting. I'm sure of that.
Oh, that's really awesome to hear. And I will tell you, we're living in a time when agility and innovation are going to be the game changers and the differentiators in who makes it and who doesn't, and who can grow their business. Because as you said, consumers have shifted, marketing has shifted, and we have to shift as companies to get in front of these consumers and meet their expectations. And it sounds like Bella Flooring Group and you personally are on your way to really doing some special things in the industry. So I really appreciate the time, and I wish you all the success, and be safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. And I appreciate you having us on, and you guys be safe, be well, and be brave in this new world.